absence, but apology from Councillor Bowman. I'm going to presume John's running away. Disclosures of interest, anyone?
Yeah, item 9, I have asked for dispensation to remain in discussions, but it depends if we do have to agree actions or not or not.
Same.
Okay.
John's on the screen, so you'll be joining us. Got 3 public questions.
The red phone box, am I right in understanding that the parish council have arbitrarily decided to take over the looking after the inside of the box from the WI? They had a roster, a weekly roster that looked after the inside of the phone box.
I'm not aware of any discussions or anything saying that the WI were continuing. If they are continuing, then obviously Plastics will look at something to do there.
They're a bit surprised.
I'm the first I've heard of that. Yeah, we'll put the email out to the WI and ask.
I think we're waiting for the info board to go back up though, because they can't do anything without that.
Okay, it might be that then.
Does the
Should we double check, make sure there was a. Yeah. The info board inside it needs to be put back up. Or,
there's one section that's in, but there was the upper section that hasn't been
I think
back in.
the big back one, they need the plastic cover over it as well, don't they?
Yes.
So they can.
Yeah.
okay.
It was just there was in the bridge. I was under the impression that the WI actually had sent an email about the info.
I'll check through
Continuing.
my emails then. I'll check it through and follow up.
So from your understanding, you're saying the WI said they don't want anything to do with it then?
No. I think because of what was said in the Bridge magazine, I think what Lindsay's referring to is the Bridge magazine. It said that the parish council were taking over the looking after and taking out papers and any items that should not be there. Whereas over the last few years, since the last refurbishment, the WI had a cleaning rota, and then they actually took out information that wasn't relevant to the village.
I don't think I wrote that. I don't think you wrote that either. Have a look. But my understanding was that everything had been taken out and was put back in, right for life, and it was just getting refurbished and
Yeah.
was going back in as it was.
Hey, John, once he arrives in a minute, he'll probably know when it's going back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't read the Bridge article. But yeah,
So long ago.
we'll clarify it all, Lindsay. Any other questions? Yeah.
Yeah, the first ones are on the minutes of the 11th of November. Just want to clarify who took the minutes, as the clerk wasn't present.
Well, you attended the meeting, didn't you?
I attended the
You
meeting.
attended the meeting. It was myself that took the minutes as
Well,
chairing the meeting.
I don't know who took the minutes.
The chair did.
Right.
It's fairly obvious during the meeting.
There's nothing obvious about it.
Okay.
And actually, as you were the chair, you shouldn't really have been taking the minutes. Somebody else should have taken the minutes. Item 119.
119 in that.
In their minutes, yeah.
Let me just check that. 119. Health and surgery, yes.
Yeah. There's no mention of who Solicitor Claire Archer is employed by.
Okay. I don't recall during the meeting whether I mentioned who she was employed by, but she's employed by the solicitors for the Parish Council, and it is Knights.
Knights, right.
Claire Archer.
That's actually a typo because of the small A part.
Yeah.
Right. When was Knights engaged by FPC and by whose authority?
Before my time. So,
Before all of them.
No, it wasn't.
before my time as chairman then.
Don't think so.
Sorry, I still
What was that? Gary, sorry, can I have the question again, please?
When was Knights engaged by FPC and by whose authority?
Nice.
Right.
Come back.
Next question on that one. You probably don't know this one. How were they selected?
Come back to
Right.
Yeah.
What are their terms of engagement as no payment has been made to this company?
Yeah. Come back to you on that.
Who agreed to engage them?
I'm sorry.
Who agreed to engage them? Right. What is Knight's bill for the work done preparing the lease so far, as nothing has appeared in the accounts?
Not been invoiced.
Which solicitors company are acting for Azura?
What was you?
That's a question for the jury.
Well, I'm asking you because you're
Okay, I don't know, but it'll be a question for them.
Right. Next up, the questions are to do with finance on the documents that have been submitted. Why are there negative numbers in the balance column of the agreed accounts for October and November, then in this account for December 2024?
Is this
Reading.
Sorry?
Sorry, reading.
Yeah. Why are there negative numbers in the balance column
Yeah.
of the agreed accounts for October and November, then in this account for December 2024?
so on the current balance? So for instance, the example, IT website costs 174, yeah? I'm just clarifying, is that what you mean?
Well, I'm referring to all the negative numbers.
I'm asking, is what the minus 174 an example of what you're discussing? Just to help it easier to answer here for you.
Yes, that's
Yes,
an
okay,
example,
so
yeah.
that would be where the budget for the September and October, the preset budgeted amount was £200, but that has gone to 374 payments to date, which would lead to a minus 174. The transfer out from general reserves hasn't been entered yet. That's why it shows as a minus 174. And the same would apply for other ones. It's where the payments are in excess of what the budgeted amount was. So therefore there would be a transfer from general reserves to offset that.
But this is a statement as of a certain date. And
Okay.
as the payments have been made, the money must have been transferred from general reserves to actually paid. I mean, the balance can't be negative. It can either be zero or positive.
There are sometimes transactions that take place in between meetings where general reserves are transferred, where it's identified there is a negative.
My balance is quite often negative. What overdraft?
Well, okay.
As you were, it's a snapshot at a time period. 5 minutes later, they made the transfers and the transfer from general reserve column might fill out. It's just a shake of the head there. Thank you.
It's like that for 3
No,
months.
but,
It's like that for 3 months,
Okay.
but so,
but right, can we say, look, we've put a new clerk into the role, who's understanding a spreadsheet that has been fully set up by the previous clerk, okay? We're getting there, okay?
I don't have a problem with the new clerk. I think the fact was that all of the accounts have been agreed as being correct and hasn't been addressed, and that is down to partially the councillors who have agreed that these are correct, and that the transfers have not actually happened from General Reserve, nor have they actually been put across from the new precept element as well. But that's fine. I think you've answered Gary's question, and I think it's quite clear.
I wasn't clear what you had to say.
That's fine. That's
Sorry.
yeah.
Okay. So, are you satisfied with that answer? That it's the transfer from general reserves needs to take place in the spreadsheet? That's a simple clerical work that needs to happen?
Well, it would be if it had just happened for 1 month, but it's happened for 3 months. That's the point we're making.
Right.
So there's something not quite right about
Again,
how it's been handled.
put it down
I
to
think that's
someone
what
new in the...
We, as Fiona's trying to say, we don't have any problem with a new clerk who's not familiar with it, right? But when she presents the accounts to be agreed at this meeting, what we do expect is the experienced councillors sat around the table have actually looked at it. And rather than me as a member of the public having to raise a query, one of them would actually have looked at this and said, why we've got all these negative numbers. It's a bit like the scenario when Councillor Culpit was asking about negative numbers with the Joint Cemetery Committee. He was the only one asking questions.
You're presuming, so is it a case you're presuming that the other parish councillors don't know what they're talking about, don't understand the spreadsheet either?
My suspicion is that actually nobody spends any time looking at it. Prior to the meeting.
Yes, we all have.
Sorry?
We haven't got.
You all have what?
We've all looked at the document.
I mean,
Right, so you've agreed them.
As a formal record, we agreed with them.
So you've looked at them prior to coming to the meeting and you've...
We had a meeting specifically about this, a working group.
About what? I'm talking about your minutes. I'm talking about your minutes.
October, September and October.
But anyway, let's leave that. Right, so the final one is, what are the large numbers?
Right, next question.
What are the large numbers that have suddenly appeared in the December 2024 transfer to other funds column, not present in any earlier months?
So, which ones? What you're saying, what are the figures appearing in
The transfer to other funds column.
transfer to other funds? That,
There's £19,714 in the December figures. But if you look at the November and October figures, it's not there. So I'm just asking, where does it come from?
understood.
Likewise on the cemetery one, there's minus 4,000 and odd has appeared. Because the other strange thing is the cemetery one is a minus figure, whereas this one appears to be a positive
Understood
figure.
your question, I'm looking into the answer.
Okay.
concerned with is what I can tell you. But yeah, and then again, it ties in with the same for the allocation of budget for the September for the Cemetery Committee. When the budgets were transferred over into the current balance column, it's done as part of that calculation of the reverse engineered C. But
Yeah.
so it just ties in with those numbers. Any other questions? No.
So, sorry, there's I've just heard this evening that the WI have been offered a load of daffodils to plant for the parish. So is it all right if I say yes to them and then get back to you about when you may like them planted? Or would you not want them?
We've got, I know there's a lot of stuff being discussed on plantings and stuff like that, so if an idea of how many, where they would intend on planting them, etc.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure there's be quite a few, but like I said, it would be coming back to you of where you would potentially like them.
Yeah.
We don't want to just put them anywhere. It's got to be
the previous application to put them at the top of Parkview got declined from Northumberland County Council because it was they weren't going to be able to facilitate leaving it unmowed until the end of June.
Yep.
So if you have got places where you want to plant them, we'll have to put a request into county if they're in charge of mowing.
I think what would be nice is the rough area on the south side of the wreck. You know, where the grass goes longer.
We can, yeah.
There's also, I was wondering about the area down towards the memorial between the new bird's mouth fencing and the other fencing, because that's not cut either.
We'll have to ask NCC. Yeah, we'll have to ask NCC.
So if it's okay if I just agree to get them and then fingers crossed.
I think the thing is because they're time sensitive, they really need to be in the ground now.
Well, yes, I agree.
So the issue is what I don't want to say is yes, they can go in there and we'll take them if it's not cleared with Northumberland County Council. If you can come up with any suggestions of where we'd like to go.
Well, we could put them up initially, so that we could put them up initially.
Yeah, if that's going to be the best thing to get them over the first year, then it might be what we'll need to do. What I don't want to happen is for them to go in and then get mowed off with the spring mowing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rec Lane would not need council's permission. Rec Lane's ours.
You wouldn't get anything in the ground, would you? Try digging it.
Yeah.
The rec fields are around by the play area on the rec field. They look really nice. And the frequency of the cutting would lend it to the guy that was cutting the grass. I know to pretend that the guy that was cutting the grass. You know, he was missing molehills, so he'll miss daffodils.
Yeah, clear around daffodils, and he's got several flame mows, and yeah, you can take it off him. The only thing that I would say is that there are quite a lot of daffodil bulbs that are poisonous to dogs, and we'd have to act with due diligence for dog walkers if they were loose in the ground. Sorry?
Anything further? Move on. Approved minutes of the previous meeting, we just changed the typo there to capitalise the A of Archer. Can anyone recall that I mentioned combinations of
I thought it was just nice.
nights?
But I could have just presumed that because it's nice that we dealt with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so happy for it to be marked on this works for nights as well. Is everyone else happy with the minutes? Okay, so can we show hands to approve with the amendment to the name and add in the company detail? Yep, cheers.
it did all click into place when we discussed this the other night. I'm not going to start having seats down. So everybody worked really, really hard at going through it, and yeah.
Yeah, obviously we had the discussion of working group to work through the budget. I took the notes from that, updated it into some fashion of a spreadsheet on it, taking account the figures as to date, then forecast spend for the rest of the year, a projected balance on it there. Column. And then the budget column is the sort of anticipated amount required for preset. So totals to 38,623. Then obviously down at the bottom we then have the anticipated income. 2863, so the maths on that work out as a preset requirement of 35,760, which is circa 3% down on the previous year, which
My only reservation is when we looked at what was going on insurance, there was quite a number of items that were on the insurance, so the insurance contribution would probably have to be slightly higher than what
do we see that? Give me a second, see what was expenditure was 1837 or something this year.
Insurance.
1950 would put it before.
And it was 18, so it was 1835 this year, so that's £115 up.
But all insurances have gone up. Which is what we took into account when we did the budget. So therefore, given that we have got some cost items going on, we'll need to pop that up a little bit further.
But have we got enough in general reserves to cover that without and still due to preset?
Yeah,
Yes.
we don't be talking about doing that, like £50 or something.
Yeah, so it's
Even what's to add to it isn't going to be but so I can imagine it's going to add much more to that.
No, it's not, it's going to come back from the parish
Well, anyway, so
sanitary actions.
so do we want to increase that to 2,000 there?
I think I'd be more comfortable with it being increased a little bit more. But
cost of the elections from your time as chairman? Was it, did you have one, or was that one?
Yes, I thought it was about £2,000 for a full election for the,
Share.
yeah,
So that's
Familiar
that's,
figure.
that's the shared election when we do
That's
shared
shared
election.
election.
If we have to have election, things
Yeah.
just for us is small.
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Again, we have plenty in general reserves, should we?
So,
I'll try and find one.
But a reduction in the precept again, which is good.
one of the ones I know that we kind of discussed that was the new route plan. I know it's sort of, it is taking a bit of a backseat at the moment, but our expenditure on it this year was about £18, which was land searches, for, which, I didn't know whether that's something that are we happy just to even keep the 913.80 as a base, or if we can move out the top up of 500. I don't, because a lot of this stuff's
I
funded
think-
by grant money anyway, so it's another
It
place
is.
where we can reduce a lot.
The majority, it will be funded by grant money if it gets retaken back up again. The issue I would have is that if we do manage to bolster some enthusiasm for it, and it does, like, we've been told that usually in these cases it's a working group from outside the council, just including 1 or 2 council members, and really designing a workforce to do it, then I wouldn't want that to be stopped by there not being something in reserve for it, so we definitely would need a buffer there
Yeah,
for it.
that's still like
Yeah,
almost
yeah, it's
£1,000
fine,
is a
yeah.
high enough buffer.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, we've got general reserves, should be.
Yeah.
So that then, so I'll make that amendment to reduce that to, so neighbourhood plan, changing the budget amount down to 0 from 500. I'll send you the spreadsheet.
Can I just, that's the general feeling for the comment that that recovery, is that really alignment? No.
Around about 1,200. There needs to be claimed for it. So I think to reflect what we've got so far year to date, it needs to be carried up to a little bit.
Yeah.
But it depends what we spend. We've had some high item spending this year, which means there's a lot of VAT in there. Whether you anticipate a big spend next year, where we get a lot of VAT back as well. If you have any big projects.
This is the budget, so this is money we're going to spend,
Yeah,
or earmark
yeah,
to spend. So that recoverable doesn't really come in, does it?
depends again.
We've got back on the other side as a refund, the main fund, there's the expenditure, there's a questioning.
On the other side.
So is that, so we have to have it there to spend it, because we have to pay for that to start with, but it's then likely to be recovered, is that?
Well,
But then we've got a lot of back, we have a lot more coming back in and a lot more out.
Potentially they'll end up being there's burning, but some of it could be from the overlap when the funds come in, because like, we're spending that now, which then, which depends when you do your VAT recovery, it could end up falling payment that comes into next year.
But again, it's an income,
say 500, I don't know what, I'm not a email from Azure saying how much it is. Given the current trend of emails, I would suggest, it stays, I don't know. It's difficult to tell.
This what internal and external?
No, it's external.
External.
Because well, in fairness, audit fees, we'll say, but our internal auditor, whatever, charges us. Obviously,
Do we know what's
it's
to happen
been-
with that though? I mean, like,
need to
as far as internal auditors go, is it always that value for money?
I don't know.
So do we need to,
We need to approach a new internal auditor, appoint them some point next year, before the end of the year. But yeah, I know Patrick gave me a website to look at to help on that. So, it's just
thing is, there's
pretty
a
big.
potential that is going to cost,
That's it. I think that
but you think,
if we get £9 there, I think we're comfortable. Don't
we've always got the general reserves and the plate power fund.
So, I think I'd rather just keep it as it is, just,
Okay.
it's nice,
Just a bolster.
just in case. It's not having to talk about. If, I look at it, I think that's roughly what you had, because that will come 2 years old.
Next year.
Next year, at some point next year, so it has to be replaced. And then they'll just follow, just supermatch the one outside the village hall got done this year, so it'll be the next year. So. I don't.
Just following on what you were saying earlier on, could we reduce the election costs?
Just got 3,000 there. Yeah.
Nothing ever goes down in price.
And then I need to get a response from county. What they can do.
So,
I can make an inquiry this week.
So.
But bear in mind, you only need the election costs if you get more than 10 people wanting to stand for an election. So if you only have 10 people put the name forward, they all get elected, so there's not actually an election as such.
It's okay, if we get more than 10 people, I'll just pull out. Including my community.
Yeah.
For the sake of the £3.
Yes.
You can fit in the
You can
neighbourhood
put it to
And bear in mind you're having trouble co-opting people, then there's likely to have elections.
An election either.
There was an election last time.
There was an election last time.
Was that predicted then?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we're all happy with the Riverside one.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be tree work to do.
Do you want to take the risk on it and reduce the election one down to 300 then? It gives us a bit in it, but
Anything we screw
it
off.
puts then the pot to 3,300, which is, we reckon, 2 to 2.5 for an election. It allows then.
Well, can't be for free the last time we
So it said free, right?
If it's a standalone,
We should get a shared election.
hopefully, but it
It's
depends,
kind of-
it
it's
depends,
kind of-
it depends where they decide to do the polling, because we're changing now.
I think there's a lot of uncertainty around this at the moment with all the
Boundary change.
boundary lines.
Well, we'd like to think so. We don't know for definite.
Okay, well, leave it at 6. Yeah, sorry. I went back.
There's £500 in notice for replacement.
Yeah, so that's go. I think like you obviously did a bit of repair work in the notes board this year. Are we any time soon likely to need a replacement? So reduce that to 0, and then something that we can review every year, because we've got 500 there. Looking at it, I think from a quick go around, it was like around about £1,000 mark for replacement. So we're halfway there anyway.
And the one down next to the shop, since Lindsay did
Well, if you-
the
So
front on, has been a lot better.
so I think do we?
If you put 100 in, then 100 every year, but you don't really need to.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll reduce that from 250 to 100.
Can I just jump back on to Falcon and Blue? I just want to make you aware that whilst there's a budget there, we've been very reluctant to use it previously. We'd like to spend that money without mentioning it.
In terms of spending on what?
Just planting.
Planting. I mean that, well, I suppose the ethos is to have plants that we can, that we're not replacing for spring, summer.
Yeah.
So obviously the difficulty is with the trees outside here, it's the lights stopping the
Yeah.
plants. So I think one of the things that the WI is looking at is to maybe do something slightly different and maybe pick up some of the other planting, but that's something that the WI have to decide, and then we'll get back to you, and then see. But I think
I mean, I think there's probably some money there to get some investment pieces that maybe were a little less light requiring, so we could look at that for their
yeah, I think we were allocated some money sort of recently, which we haven't yet dipped into. So, but we're very mindful of budgets and stuff. So, I will take on board. Yeah, right.
So it's also a barrel replacement of the bridge ones, isn't it? I know they come on the sort of kind of street furniture and tell them to do it. It's from the tap. If you replace them on the street furniture, they're still going to have to put in compost or whatever. Because they're really past the point in which they're
Try to move on to repot it, and with no base in it.
basically on the gravel. Stops people pensions and all.
You wouldn't mention the bloody
Oh, somebody did. When I first got them, somebody pension them.
The Google in South Wayne, Google South Wayne was a 2,000 budget there. We haven't had a working group for Google in South Wayne for years.
That's right, to recruit. So.
There's a lot of stuff needing to be done down there, big stuff, but when we get there,
Well, 2,000 would be enough.
no,
They're going to put any bigger than that.
it's like a drop in the ocean.
Oh, right, okay.
Depending on what,
The thing, which parts of that is
Yeah. Let's see.
counting, which parts of that is us, so,
well,
and
years ago, the chap from NCC came out, and to be blunt, it was more of a we can't do this for this reason kind of conversation. And while we need to work out solutions on parking there, it's 2,000 is not going to do anything towards
Is
solving
it
the
going
problem.
to make things safer, like,
Well-
literally like, you know, what we were talking about with the smaller town and
But surely that would come under NCC.
it is, but this
No,
is
yeah.
the issue, it's the fact that we need to
So I think
completely re-engage with them about
NCC
it.
thing.
It's not about spending money, but then why have we got a budget there for it? What are we meant to be spending that money on?
Yeah.
Can I just throw some light on that? When you did have the working group, that budget was set up to grow and fund because the liaison with the Northumberland Council was that we'd have to provide a certain amount to it, so we needed
Yeah.
to build a fund up to contribute. So that's why we're doing it. But like you say, nothing's happened for
But if
Three
there was
years.
something that came time critical, the parish council would just have to spend from reserves, and if it was a case of claiming it back through NCC, we would do that anyway, wouldn't
I don't think it's as easy as that.
we? No. Never is it?
the overall South View, we're building a fund up.
Can I
Oh,
ask whether or
that's
not the parish council received the technical drawings that chap did? Did they apply for them?
Chase, if you remember, we chased the chat back up, gone in the ether. I think it was well, personally, I didn't see anything come back from it. There was like an email thread which died.
It died, yeah.
You were at that meeting. I think you were at the meeting.
I was, yes.
So I think the general justice that we need to keep that pot of money there.
And potentially bring back the working group. No, there's things we've done in that area. We don't have a parish councillor from that part of the village,
But it's really important, I mean,
but it doesn't mean we
Yeah.
shouldn't.
Doesn't mean we shouldn't focus in there,
Exactly.
there's a need.
no, but I think the thing is that these projects have always got a higher likelihood of success when you've got, you know, people that are actually residing there, rather than just them and us.
Actually, it doesn't.
The Redfield court surface, is that being done? Or,
Don't think it'll get done before Christmas.
I'm just wondering if there's a reasonable budget for it. Have we got a fixed price for, or?
Well, it's probably changed by now, but unless he committed to it,
I don't think it was actually a firm,
sorry.
I don't think it was a firm, right, when he said he would do it.
We best
To go
leave the
back.
meeting.
I don't think it came up as that, but then we talked about the fences and stuff around, but it wasn't just the
Yeah.
surface.
Property management, guys, to look at some options for, it's a company to alternative material basically that's used as a recycled plastic board. So
This is solely,
yeah, so it gives it more of a, you know, a
Vibrant
weatherproof
look.
So, yeah,
it's not really offensive either, because it's like a matte finish on it,
Yeah.
it's,
So-
The hope it would last considerably longer than plywood. I mean, another plywood's been there for
I
ages.
was done pretty well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from when it was that light.
but then the board sizing and costing, we could really look at that. We get it down, measure the centres of the posts and stuff. See how it looks and then see, we'll work out how many boards we think we need and stuff. But yeah.
So maybe instead of saying court surfaces, you just say boundaries and,
Yeah, because it takes it, it's not just the surface, you're
Yeah.
right there.
because, I mean, there was the request to have the tents next reinstated and things like that, so that was all else being come out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just, well, that was something that was just, full
Fully
collapsible,
posed.
temporary ones
Yeah.
and stuff. Didn't add anything to the multi-user building one, we've got a very decent plot there that kind of covers anything if we need surveyors or other stuff at this moment. Play area, anticipating there's probably going to be hopefully a good bit of spending coming up on it from either stuff from the Eastern Council, and we have a swing set that's most likely going to be replaced and one of those bouncy thingies.
I think what we're going to need to do is get Glenn to pay for the swing set, because he could only like earmark funds for a short period, and it's not going to fit in with us managing to get enough money to do the whole project. So that's what I said to him. What I've suggested is that we got him just to donate the swing set and do some other minor feature.
Maybe the bouncy thing.
Yeah.
Is it the something
the-
£1,000 for them?
The rocker.
Rocker, yeah.
Yeah, and that would probably cover what he was willing to donate.
Yeah.
And we could, you know, put in a deposit of this in January and get it officialised.
Anything else we do say?
They can do it all through the same company, it can do, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the maintenance, street furniture.
There's some nasty potholes at the bottom end of right there,
Whereabouts?
as you go round the corner from Main Street, just at the bottom end. The sort of busy traffic area, there's some potholes here and there. Just
Oh, the entrance in from Main Street.
Just past as you go into Red Lane.
So,
So it might need a bit of
I'm
major
just
work before it gets
close
closed.
to traffic down.
How far, where does Red Lane, where does Red Lane start? Does it go back the depth of the pavement and then start, or?
No, it starts right at the road edge.
Okay.
There's more people having to turn in it.
I thought there is a lot of people using it to turn. There's someone who drops a kid off there every day for a bus to school. Coming from this first.
No, it's like me who like, you know, have to, but I'm a bit braver, I don't go there, but there's a lot of people that is just used as a turning point.
I think potholes been caused by the bin wagons.
Oh, right.
I think so. That's
So it's
exactly
on-
where they do it.
Direct green partners on pavement part.
Unfortunately, it's on the Red Lane.
Okay.
It's just when I was walking the dog the weekend, I thought, oh my goodness, this is starting to break
So,
up.
well,
And
We've
the
got,
weather-
we've got the reclaim maintenance budget.
Yeah, we've got a budget there for it. But that pothole repair shouldn't need that budget, hopefully. Got some local contractors that can help out on that, or just even get, better design, but get cold pour stuff to just whack into it.
Just bring it.
When you finish, can we do the end of my drive as well?
Well, I was going to mention that in front of my house too.
No, street
I mean,
furniture,
the footpaths are terrible, but that's empty being honest.
yeah, street furniture,
Also down on Victoria Terrace as well.
stop, right, street furniture,
Great fun.
street furniture anticipated, we've got very few dog bins and stuff we want to replace. And so we've got a bit of expenditure on that, and then I reckon there'll maybe be potential benches in the next year as well. So that's why I was like, we'll spend this to then top up there again.
And Christmas lights.
And
This
and
village definitely
there's
needs Christmas lights.
got the grand ideas of Christmas lights, but that's
That's low down on the list.
I'd be stung up if I had mentioned that in this meeting.
a top up of that.
It'd be like
At
a Tesco
Christmas
lorry
light
going
every
around
year.
the one with them on.
If you want to take that as a project,
Is the Chestnut Garden not enough? Why did it come into council?
it's great, isn't it? You should see the electric bill.
The first one
All
I
I
think
need
is
is
on the
the
northern junction, so we can actually see where the junction is.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
I've got
like
I've got
south.
Christmas lights and floodlights. Wonderful.
So,
Same thing, isn't it?
right, taking into account the changes there, I can read through the changes again from what's printed out in the sheet. Insurance we've upped from 1950 to 2000. Jacqueline's going to confirm the procedure of that stuff. Should it not be needed, that item. We've then neighbourhood plan we've reduced from 500 to 0. Notice board we've reduced from 250 to 100. Then rec field surface we've changed to rec field mugger, which brings a total of projected expenditure to 38,023 at the bottom, with an income of 2,863, which would come to with a preset requirement of 35,160 in comparison to last year's preset of 36,867, which is down 1,707, which is circa 4.85%.
Well, that's not bad. We must have it.
Sorry.
I don't know if this is right, if this is pertinent at the moment, but what figures do we have for rec field works?
We have a general rec field,
I mean,
general works.
specifically drainage, for instance, clearing the drains.
In general, we're topping that up from an anticipated final balance amount of 2,000. We're adding 4,000 to that, leaving 6,000 for the general cutting of the stuff. Any additional drainage and cammering units or jetting out any of the drain runs.
I mean, a clear specific need is to rot out the drains. We've known this for years.
Yeah.
It's not happened. We need a proper mole catcher. Current mole man is achieving nothing.
It's something that is the mole catching's been discussed at the previous meeting. Obviously, Councillor Bowman's on the council now. We have had mole traps put in as well that have been stolen. We are looking at it, and we know there's the sweet spot of when we're going to try and attack them between now and early spring, when they're least active sort of things. We have told people to try and not travel over mole hills as it is, so that we then know where there is activity.
In
I
my
think
only-
So,
Lindsay's
the
point is that we need to throw a huge amount of money at that area, and I'm going off trying to get grants and stuff and things. The general plan on Lindsay was that I'm started contact with the Northumberland Water Community Outreach Programme. So they've got a thing where everybody at any kind of level within the company can do, I think it's 15 hours of community work every year. So what I wanted was to get one of their drainage consultants out to come and look at the area and actually put like a plan in place for us and things, and then we would get it costed out from there. So that was and that hopefully wouldn't cost us anything to do that. And I was going to try and get them to look at the school field as well, because they don't have a usable pitch up there either. But at the moment we've got a public facility that can't be used properly, and simply put the same level of money in for maintenance, it's not maintenance, because it's gone beyond that point, and we need to have put improvements in there. So I think allocating more reserves for it is something that I'll be continually asking and fighting for. But and if we've got that there, then it's what the community does actually need.
Yeah. It's certainly something that I don't remember from the previous discussion we had with Azura, that they're, along with the NPC, for Company Primary Care, are going to look at other grants that they can give to community, and generally if they are sort of leisure based, I believe they can get a bit more standing and hope. So I know they have promised that they're looking at other funding for us as well that they can give to us. So that's maybe something that we can look at, because I know we've had a lot of discussions recently with the resurrection of the football team and stuff, so we are looking at what we could do to get that as a better surface, because at the moment, given the molehill stuff we've had over the past few years, it's a bit undulaty, it needs a bit of drainage, it needs a bit of that, but it's stuff we are looking at.
In terms of the molehills, in my early days, before Ian
he's not started yet.
Sorry?
He's not started on them yet, just so you're aware of that.
Yeah, no, but in my early days here, we employed a professional mole catcher who kept them down to an absolute minimum before Ian came in and said, oh, I'll do it for free, and boom, we've been inundated.
Well,
You don't get paid for.
Yeah.
Let's bear that in mind
Yeah,
when we come back to this.
we'll bear that in mind, but it's something we can look at, obviously.
But do we need to stick more funds into that area, I think, is the...
Not out of the precept.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or depending on there's other plots there that might end up. Because we'll have 4,000, circa 4,300 environmental, which is for anticipated tree works and any other like environmental which drainage and stuff that could come under as well. So there are pots there that we can look at for it. But we are aware that there is a problem, and there is a big aim to try and tackle that by next year, so that we have as little interruption to the grass cutting as possible. Okay. So yeah, with those amendments that we've just lengthily discussed through, so that leaves a precept requirement of 35,160, which as I say is 1,707 down from the previous year. Which is circa which is circa 39.46 per litre.
What, sorry?
39.46 per litre. Going on the figures we got from.
And what percentage is it? Like, different, yeah, difference.
It's circa 4.85.
So even though we put more money in, the expenditure, we've gained a better percentage, that doesn't seem quite right. Because we had
No, no,
3%
Because
before.
we just knocked
No,
off.
because we reduced neighbourhood plan, we took 500 out of that, we took 150 out of notice board, and we only added in 50.
That does seem like a big leap though.
It does seem like a big one.
Thank you.
This is compared to last year's budget, we've already done one round on the budget,
Yeah.
so this is just a repeat round on that. The accumulating effects of both
Mm-hmm.
in one and 4.8.
As long as it gets carried through and doesn't get swallowed up by county again. The last time we had a major drop, county put it through at the same level as the previous year. So we didn't see the major drop.
4.6 and 4.8, roughly about that.
Right, okay.
I think given the current climate, if you can get any percentage down is a benefit.
So are we going to reduce it by that full amount or?
So it would be, we would then, the preset amount that we will issue to county council will be for 35.60.
Right, okay, so we.
If we're happy enough with that. Obviously, got a lot of work in when we chatted it and working group, so then refined now.
My only fear is always, it's very difficult to put it back up again.
But
So I really just want to make sure that we're not.
I think what we need to bear in mind, where we've had to the reason why we generally had to put it up over the previous years, we've got healthy amounts in those pots
Always back up.
to where they need to be. Yeah, we could potentially have, if we have a shared election, we might end up having more there than we need in the election pot, but it then allows us to then slowly over a period of time trickle that up to what it needs to be for the next potential election. So, is everyone happy to approve?
Yes.
I will save my comments and send it to you. Next item to approve the purchase of Scribe accountancy software. This is one of the things we discussed through a bit with Claire, and she used some different trials and softwares, and then she left as clerk. So we decided we'd postpone it a little until Jacqueline got into the role. Jacqueline's done a bit of trial or research with them, seems to be fairly satisfied with Scribe, and I think from it'll be a lot nicer than that spreadsheet at the end of the day.
I think it was the preferred option that Claire looked at.
It was her preferred option, but we didn't want to make any decisions until you had a chance to look at it.
I would agree with that decision.
Do you want to say anything on it?
No, I think I've circulated some of the report systems that functionality that is really good. I also really like the fact that it can help with the AR and year-end reports next year. It automatically pulls in all the data into the relevant forms so that it can help to reduce any kind of clerical errors as well. So if you are able to, from day one, get all of the information on there correctly, it should just be So you can analyse across separate budget lines as well as to what the income and expenditures are, and you can do year-to-date reports, and it's got really good functionality. And I think I know last year's year end was a challenge, so hopefully this year with that on board it will help to reduce any all the time and the effort and the cost that's involved in preparing those reports for the council.
Okay.
It's got good backup support as well.
Yeah, we'll have 24/7 backup support, so even when it comes to year end
You
as
don't
well.
need to work 24/7.
No. We will have access to people who can help with that particular part of the process as well. So
That's
we
good.
an onboard team to support the everyday data inputting, but also the more important reporting at the end of the year.
Cool.
Sounds good. I'm happy enough myself to approve.
Do we need to know how much it costs?
It's in the IT, it has been included in the IT budget.
Do we not, just for the record, need to say how much it costs before we adopt it?
Yeah.
So that effectively will be
Yes, we've got
29880.
29880 onboarding
Yeah.
costs, and then and first month.
And
and
first
training.
month, yeah, and I think it's £39 a month, but I'll double check
Yeah.
that.
But it has been budgeted for in the budget that we just approved. Okay, then on to D. Yeah. One.
Will that be the list of price wages?
Yeah.
John, there was a question earlier just before you came in about the post box, about the internal.
Oh, yeah. The board still has to come back in.
Oh.
One of the plastic cover and stuff.
The telephone box, not the post box.
Post box, yeah. But we're not putting stuff in the post box.
I was told that would have been done, so I'll chase that.
Yeah, we can chase up.
Chase it now.
No, it's fine. Just chase up back there.
Not because it was 3 or 4 days ago I had a look, so it hadn't been done then, but it may have been done since. So it was 3 or 4 days ago. Because, and obviously it was one of the people on the roster that wanted to go in and do something, but we couldn't.
Yeah. Right, I'll chase that up tomorrow. I was, the last conversation I had with them, obviously we were pushing to get it done in time for Remembrance Sunday. And they were going to put a new final board up, and then the perspex stuff was never. So I don't know whether they're just waiting on that, but it was certainly their intention to have done that, so I'm surprised it hasn't been done, but I will chase it up.
Okay.
How is it held on so people can get access? Is it hinged or screw on, screw off?
Put my paper at that.
Just wondered.
The old one was screw on, screw off, but if there was something that could be done to make it easier,
I was just
that would
thinking
be
if it was
appreciated by
hinged
the.
with a-
Yeah, but
And
it
then
was.
people could move it and put
Yeah.
new information in regularly.
But it would trash if it's not done, if that's something.
Yeah, if it's not done then I'll get them to do that. Do you think something like a notice board style cabinet in there would be better?
Space, isn't it? Whatever look.
You know, like a
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
like a TV cabinet door sort of thing?
You'd be better with one like having buildings where it's it's the notice board and then it just has a very shallow depth and a glass front or a perspex.
Yeah.
And it just hinges at the side or the top so you can lift it and do whatever, and then it's an Allen key to lock it at the bottom.
Right. Cool. Does the shelf not move?
It's back in.
I think that's fine.
Is the shelf and not
Because it stops
door
people.
thing, yeah?
The shelf thing is.
Yeah, there's just like the dockets sort of one, but
Just
it
not,
was,
just not like the pinboard.
but
No.
with a board bit above that's not there.
Okay.
Yeah, because it would paper copy instead.
Are we happy to authorise those payments? Yeah. Go ahead. I think we've touched base on more costs.
That's what happens when you get on this parish council. People to get on.
Yeah.
Right,
Goals,
so we know what's going on with the malls.
Maintenance contracts, we need to get the contracts with the group together in January to do tenders, ready for the roll out and roll in. Yeah.
Yes.
Maintenance contracts, the grass cutter, well, the trimming inside the play park. One part of John Hood's contract is that at least once a year, somebody goes down behind the north fence to cut off anything growing through the chain link fence.
Okay.
Not done.
We'll have a chat.
So that's once a year, that needs to go in the contract, that once a year.
It was in the
It's in the
contract.
contract.
No, no, I mean, but that carrying forward to the next, that's something that's gonna be in there.
Is once a year often enough?
Yes,
Yes, it is if it gets done once a year.
yeah, but it's outstanding.
Okay.
No offence, chain link.
Yeah, so working group for the maintenance contracts. Get a plan in place for that early next year. Basically.
And if everybody could keep an eye out for people that we can approach, because one of the things we found really difficult last year, not last year, the last time we did this, was finding enough people to get to tender.
Probably help you on that. Can do for a living.
But we sent out a lot of information and things to various companies and just nothing.
Yeah.
Back at some points. We sort of were trawling through yellow pages and all sorts, trying to find people, so if anybody knows of anybody, or speaks to anybody at Swarland or anywhere where the think.
They
I do-
do the whole lot, they're not buying more for it.
I think the other
Take
thing
that on,
is,
Gemma.
sorry,
You'll take that on.
What?
More.
Get a flavour.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't do anything else with my life. I think the other thing is that if who we've got at the moment is to continue with it, is just having that level of communication there. I mean, what I achieved actually getting his telephone number this year and having a regular text message conversation with him was more than what we seem to have had previous to that, of actually knowing when he was coming and getting a day's warning for when he was coming. And I think he's like, he's amenable to changing the contract that's there.
Yeah.
Do additional flamos and whatnot if that's what we need to do. But it's like he said, well, I've only got so many mows, I've only,
I think it needs,
that's what
it's
really
definition in this, in the specification of the
Yeah,
works is what the
yeah.
working group need to look at.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we can't have someone that's going to go, I was a molehill, I can't cut that grass there.
Yeah.
They want them, well, better knowledge of.
Or that if there's actually a problem for him to actually contact us and say the
Yeah.
solution that's stopping him from being able to do the works and contractors to do.
So I think that there'll be, we'll work out a spec for what needs done.
Cool.
That's great.
Might we, just a suggestion, is it worth getting in touch with Swarland and see when their contract's due for renewal and see if you can get something done together such that you can reduce the cost, because you might get a bigger company involved. If they agree to do your field and their field, they might do,
I want to say that they not buy them more themselves.
I don't know. That's what I said.
I think they bought more themselves to do up the
We
Pine
could
Park
certainly
and that.
follow it up though.
It's just from conversations with Greg and that at the cemetery meetings. I'm sure they do their own now.
They did get a mower, but I don't think it was very successful.
I just think that would be-
B, yeah.
I'm just going to start lettering. We've not heard back from the grant application that we did, unfortunately. And I think, how many weeks has it been now since? 3 weeks. I'm just going to, I think, because general gist is that you don't want to be sending them out simultaneously and things because it causes issues and things. But I think if we've not heard back, then first thing in January I'll be putting out more. So that, a little bit disappointing, but equally, you know, it might just be on holiday for all we know. That is a thing. We might still have that. Sorry? Might just leave it all to the very end of the year and then just go off on a sabbatical or something. But so we'll take that from there. Huge amount of support and things coming out at the moment. So since the last meeting, we've got the sums through from, as I said, Councillor Sanderson and Councillor Thorne. Councillor Thorne's keen to meet up and have a bit more of a chat and everything about what's going on. So that was quite encouraging. But as I say, both of them are time sensitive, so we have to get money spent. And Glenn's especially, I'm just going to have to be hot on it. And I think we're not going to be able to wait until we've got the full sum for the project. We're just going to have to spend that earmarked reserve. And as I said, that was, in his words, a gift from the people of Thurston in recognition for the fact that they use the play area and the rec field. As I said, I keep going back and talking about the play area, but as we said, this was going to be the first stage in the rec field regeneration, running parallel with the mugger. So that's the kind of the state of play with that at the moment. The Fair Committee are giving proceeds from Carroll's on the Bridge towards the projects as well. I've had an email conversation with Dean Jackson about, because he does the voice, the tabloid, everything for those events and things. So he's preparing a spiel for it.
All you need to do is open your press then.
Music to Anne's ears.
You just get it wrong every time.
It's wonderful. But I'll probably put a little thank you out on Facebook as well, and asking people to do. But as I said, it's
So how was it on the bridge next week?
Monday,
23rd, 2030. Yeah. Punch making preparations have commenced. So yeah, that's where we're at there. But I think that the general gist is just to keep the momentum going and keep the support there. Also, people come for us saying that next time we're doing a hands-on day, they're up for it and things. So that's really nice as well. And lots of enthusiasm. So yeah, I'm feeling hopeful.
Good. It's all positive.
Mm-hmm.
So that sort of covers B, C and D.
I think we've already talked about F, haven't we?
F, we've discussed.
Yeah.
E,
E.
and can give them a kick.
again.
Again, if you want, you can pass his number to me and that can be.
And originally he says, oh, hello, flower.
So he's fogging me off.
Do you know what? So if you just put a deep voice on and say it's somebody else with a white presence, sometimes these things.
I'm going to ask Stephen to do it.
Yeah, just
He can be my
big
secretary.
husky
on that one.
voice. Okay, 7. Yes, sir.
The rec field entrance. Somebody has pulled up the honeycomb matting and dropped it back down, so it's now loose. Corners curling. It's a trip hazard.
Did we say we were going to get a maintenance
I think we're
recce down there, like overdue?
Yeah.
And it was the same with the fence at the back of the play area that just needs some handy manage.
Yes, that was Saturday, the storm.
Yeah.
Yes, so
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
been made a priority before somebody
Pull it away then.
trips over and hurts
Yeah.
themselves. So
He needs to dig out and
were,
bend in again.
the mats were pegged down.
Ah.
what type of pegs were they?
Plastic.
Like just the plastic ones?
Mushroom,
Oh,
mushroom
right.
headed. But they're a devil to get in there because it's obviously stony ground there because it's the entrance, so you've got to
Yeah.
first make a hole. But it also needs additional material because the ground is now sunk.
Needs incidentally.
It doesn't drain. It's not a 5-minute job.
Okay. We can have a look at that. Pardon?
Hmm?
You said something further.
I'm muttering it to myself.
He's allowed to mutter to himself these days.
7th floor and Felton plot.
So yeah, Becca called me the other day and things seem she's plodding along with that and things, and they're getting some new beds cut in there and things, and she seems quite happy with everything that's happening. I know they're putting their, what's the word, when you ask if you need planning permission, things.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I think she's actually just gone straight to Rob and asked him. So yeah.
Planning advice.
Yes, that's it. So I think they seem quite happy now, and it seems all to be going the way it should be.
Okay. Ongoing matters. I did notice there'd been a cut of the vegetation at the top of the village. Not quite enough to show up at Acton entrance.
I haven't been in and out.
Yeah. It's been cut, but not enough to show that the footpath's there. But it has been reduced in entities.
Oh, that's something.
But yeah,
Have we been in communications about it with?
I think what were you not looking at chatting from on it?
That is good. Postman.
Yeah, that's I think that there's lots of stuff going in everywhere. Yeah, but it has been cut at least. But
Because at one point Trevor talked about putting the bird's beak or whatever it's called,
knee rail.
that rail
Knee
at
rail.
the top where that muddy bit is to stop people parking in that.
Sometimes it's their own vehicles parking there. Anyone I've seen parking there with an NCC truck.
The thing that destroyed the area last was a road sweeper.
Yeah.
And then,
From KCC.
and then it covered the road in mud.
As it was cleaning it, yeah.
Wasn't leaving it.
But I mean, they took out all the valuables and bits and pieces, and then it just was open to grass and mud being generated, so it still needs looking at because it's a mess.
But I think the bit that we had the specific complaint about where it wasn't getting cut on the path.
It has been
It
cut,
has
but
been
the
cut.
path still isn't.
Right.
It isn't significant. Yeah, so I think we can put another one on and just read it again because it might end up. It's a difficult one because it might
I've got
guess
the in-head.
there'll be the maintenance might be done by someone and then it might be got footpaths or something for getting that. I think it's highways is the land, so it's
I'll drop an email to Highways as well.
drop it to highways, footpaths, and say it needs cut back on the actual path itself so you can see the path. Because it's
There isn't a path there, it's not, it's grass, but it was not sure. So no, the path ends,
No, there is.
not, is there? There's a path underneath it.
there's a path there, yeah. It's like the one coming from.
Yeah, because it comes along and then it's to where to cross the road to then get to
Yeah.
the side where the footpath starts on the other side.
Yeah,
Right.
footpath starts.
Because I thought it was just cut there so you can walk along it.
So there's a path. There is a path there. It's like the one up this side of the just after the wee chicane.
Mhm.
The path there up to the bottle banks. The grass is just encroaching in on the tar there.
Right.
Eventually that's going to disappear if it
So
doesn't
do we
get
need
cut
to
back in as
mention
well.
about that path as well?
I think we mentioned about that path as well, and say it just needs cut back at the edges of the path to stop it from encroaching further. The path itself's in
Cool.
poor condition, but
Yeah.
like it's not helped by the grass all over it.
You know, it's just footpaths everywhere, and you're looking at them.
Oh,
The main street's horrible looking place.
it's just oh, sorry, John. That's for yourself, obviously, prior to the next item, the agenda disclosure of interest.
Yes,
I'm assuming you have one.
obviously, the land on, it's just a discussion about reclaim.
26 Main Street proposed development. This is what I meant to check prior to the meeting, sorry. Had they got back to you about the Northumbrian Water Park? No.
Because I thought they were going to come tonight and
I didn't for them then, mistake either. But there's a question been asked with regards to is it the water supply to the site. Their original proposal was to go to the end of Rec Lane, the street end of Rec Lane, which obviously,
Well, they got the majority of rent.
yeah.
And if that was the case, and they were going to do that, that would give us a huge opportunity if we wanted to put a building on Retfield.
Yeah, if you can look at it both ways. It's you've got the difficulty of the continuity of access to existing residents and to the playing fields. And then also, apart from the pothole at the end that we discussed tonight, we've got a fairly pristine surface. Which, just trying to find the email just now.
It's going to be a lengthy, if they dig it up, it's going to be a lengthy process, which means that a lot of people are not going to have vehicular access to their property.
Chairman, I think there may be a problem with denying emergency vehicles access if we're going to dig up the lane.
Yeah, but there's that as well.
They can always put steel plates down, can't they?
Yeah, but I think that
The question is, do you want your lane cutting up? Because your road surface will be
It will be.
forever
Yeah.
impaired.
because my understanding they were to
I thought they were going to get us more specifics about what the plan actually was, so that we could actually see what impact it was going to have on residents and things.
But the
If we had
thing
a-
that they're joining into is right in the middle of the access to the Red Lane. There's underwater manhole.
Mr. Chairman,
2 seconds, sir.
nothing to stop them going down their own garden and through, down the side entry.
Yeah,
I
I think it's not the 26 Main Street resident now, it's a developer for the site.
Well, yes, but it's
But I understand they could take
they've
it
got to
from.
deal with
Yeah.
them or us.
No, I understand. I think. I don't know, but they did. I think we queried what it was, and they then sent a blue line. Sorry, 2 seconds.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me. We asked them to provide additional advice on power and sewage supply, and they did say that we hoped to attend a meeting which has subsequently been rescheduled. But the original documents were,
Yeah, so
that one you've got?
basically what we asked them to, because they just put an X on the mark at the end of Rec Lane, they've then drawn a blue line, the whole length of Rec Lane up to there, which you can
We just asked them to highlight in more detail.
see that here
what part of the
is
Red Lane
what they suggested as the route. I have had a few calls from their, let's see, I think is it the real estate agent or whatever, pushing for an update on it, and as I said, it was deferred at the last meeting just due to other stuff being on the agenda and clerk's absence. I think given the issue that we would be reluctant to dig up that full surface, it would be, in my opinion, would be the option would be that we look at either discussing with Northumbrian Water alternatives, i.e. is there a suitable supply closer to them they could tee off of, or is there an alternative route that goes down soft vegetation rather than the tarred surface? I don't know if we're happy enough to go back on that then and say, as it stands, we're not happy with that option and feel that they would be best suited to explore alternatives.
In the event that they do have to dig up the lane, no reason why we shouldn't impose a condition that they resurface the whole lane.
If it got down to the route where that is the only option, there are obviously, from my experience through work, there can be bonds put in place, there can be you can have there need to be a full legal document drawn up for a full surface, full width reinstatement. Also where we could then say, well, look, if we're doing this, we then look at the costs of it and go, well, do you know what, why don't we put in a future duct for a potential building on the wreck as well, at the same time, if it ends up getting dug up. So it's then the issue of then giving the
Have they indicated what services they want to run up the lane?
it's water they've discussed at the moment.
Just water?
Yeah. I believe.
They seem to think they can take the power from the box at the other side of the
Right.
car park. They haven't
Yeah.
mentioned to us that they'd have to dig up the car park, obviously, to get to the box. The substation.
No, they can come around the end. Their garden abuts the rectory, but then they have to dig up the rectory.
I think what they've discovered is the biggest issue is getting the water supply to the
Yeah.
site, and the rest they can, well, hopefully they'll be able to overcome the power, but and I think their sewage is
The sewage pipe actually runs through the
Yeah.
property, which is the plot, which has got they're
they're
buying,
buying,
so
yeah.
they've got access to that.
I thought being such a narrow lane, digging the centre of the surface will never be the same again.
I didn't think how it was before it got resurfaced. It was appalling, wasn't it? It was just absolutely
How old
dreadful.
is the
And I
surface?
don't think it was a thick surface.
How long do you
on
think the
this one.
surface has been there?
Um,
How long do you think the surface has been there now?
I think it wouldn't make it serious.
10?
10 years.
I'm sure that was surfaced before.
Yeah, it's before I moved back to the
More than
village.
Long time before I came, which is 10 years.
I don't think it's been that long.
13.
Because how many times have you serviced since it was rough track? Because I remember as a kid it was rough track down
Well,
there,
that's what it was before. the
and that was
surface
this
went in.
surface went down.
Yeah.
And it was just skim and rolled and then the tarmac laid
Right.
laid on. But when it was, being that.
It's been talked about a long time, I've been here.
It was such a brilliant addition, wasn't it? Because before that it was absolutely horrendous. You could take off your car apart on it.
Could relate to them.
narrowed the plot a little bit and came out further down the lane, would be better than going the whole length of the lane down.
So what, out through Lindsay's garden?
Yeah. Squeeze along, and actually.
Do we know
It does look as if in
the extent of the
2009
new plot?
Sorry?
Sorry?
Do we know the extent of the new plot? Is that public record yet?
Of the development,
Yes.
it's big as per the approved planning.
No,
So it's down
It's-
to where it
yeah.
dog legs around the
If
back
the
of.
dog legs in and it's cuts off where the
Yeah.
dog leg is.
So it's probably level with the bottom of your garden.
It's not rough triangle.
Does it include their art place building?
Yes. So because generally the planning consent is that those get demolished, like, well, they're virtually fallen down anyway. And it goes up to where there's a little bit at the bottom of Lisa and Scott's property. So his narrow bit, the narrow bit behind Richard's at the moment is
Yeah.
where it would end.
So it's just about the corner of our property.
Yeah.
Sure, I can quickly show you this, it's public record anyway. These are good stuff. So, that's the.
Yeah, that's the top end.
Yes, and that's your property there. So the line that comes to the edge of your
Oh, it's way down.
Yeah.
Most of the
But my understanding that's
That's
very
very
approved planning.
Oh yeah, but it's a private supply.
Oh,
It's just a 15 minute supply.
So,
The public supplies, we've all got our own.
That's what, yeah.
are we happy enough to go back and say, we feel the best option is to look at an alternative route? And we should discuss that within WL, basically, other options.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, sorry?
Once that's done, could all the householders be kept informed of what's happening, please? Of any communication?
I can envisage this, so the item that maybe reappears on the agenda going forwards. Basically. Because we'll go back to them this week.
Yes.
We don't have a meeting until end of January. That allows them 4, 5, 6 weeks to do something.
Yeah, but I
With
think,
the bad news we'll give them.
as a matter of principle, going forward, could we hear everything? Or at least be informed that there are something happening?
When it appears on the agenda, is where we'll know more. Like, other than, like, I'm not willing to make the commitment that we can let you, I'm not saying we'll not let you hear everything, but
We'll let you know before
we'll
we
let
do
you
the
know
garden
before,
openings.
you know, like, if it's on the agenda, keep an eye on them,
Yes.
or feel free, give Jacqueline a call or an email or something, and she can give you an update on it. It's just, for us to be going out there with information all the time, you know how it's like, Lindsay. It can be there could be nothing or there could be lots. I don't want to give a commitment that we'll keep you updated, because as soon as we'll keep you updated on one thing, that's where someone picks fault. Okay, are you happy enough to put an email back to them on that? Thank you. Eshot Airfield. No.
Somerset and Michael went on.
Yeah, you can give an update on it and then we'll deal with this.
Okay, they've issued some revised terms of reference today for our review. Obviously, it wasn't a meeting, it was just to In attendance, there was 2 people from Thurston Parish Council, Michael and myself, Ken Sanderson and Brett Thorpe. The meeting was held by Amanda Burns. She's the secretary of the company. She's more or less just explained that the new company didn't purchase the previous company, they've only purchased the assets. So it's an entirely new company that's taken over. An existing flight training school, and they're just kind of expanding into the airfield management. They're aware there's been issues in the past and are probably ongoing. And they've put in retrospective planning for the cafe. They've also got planning in for the moment for an operations centre. They've got to put in waste treatment. They've got to improve the roads and the basic infrastructure and everything. And as with all these meetings, they seem very positive about what they want to achieve. There wasn't anything negative in what they said. It appears to be a 25-year rolling lease, so there's quite a commitment on it. They're obviously running the airport as it is now. There are several or 3 audits, I think they said. They've got safety management systems in place, complaint management systems in place. They've got everything you would expect of a company that deals with the sea air. Ultimately, the liaison group, because we said here to elect parish council members or liaison officers, we don't have to do that. Any 2 members of the parish council can go along. And that's with 2 members of Fulham Parish. And it's just an opportunity to find out what they're doing, and we can give some general feedback. It's not a new complaints procedure. There's no mechanism in there for us to be putting complaints in on behalf of anybody else. And I'd like to see that in terms of reference a bit more strongly worded. So I shall put some words together. I've only just issued it out before the meeting, they only received it then. So I've got that, and I'd also like them to put in there that they're going to put the meeting minutes on their website for everybody, so that we don't get faked requests for minutes. They did say and agree they would do that, but they just haven't put it in new COL. So I don't think that will be an issue. The idea being that this would commence in early 2025, so March, February for the first meeting. And obviously, it's not a whole new thing, this is being imposed upon them, but they seem to be taking it in good heart that they need to do this to planning requirements. But the planning requirements don't dictate what they've got to do, they've just got to liaise. So it's very open-ended what they've got to achieve, but they've formalised it, they've included NCC in their discussions, and they seem very happy with it as well. Anything else, Fadron?
Some of the information there, Chris.
Okay. One thing from you, did they say that meetings are going to continue at quarterly during the day, or would they be willing to switch the
I would
evening?
imagine it would be during the day, but
Okay.
just
during the
their
day.
business, yeah.
Yeah, understood.
We left it with them to just say dates, didn't we?
I suppose.
He just mentioned that effectively that they're looked after by the CAA. Well, as they're an unlicensed airfield, they're not regulated by the CAA.
It's a private company, it's not to us to dictate what they dictate by.
No, I'm talking about regulation.
Right.
You made
Right,
mention.
sorry, right.
Well, I'm just trying to get clarification.
Okay.
You made mention of the CAA.
I think he said that they discuss things with them though.
They operate within CAA regulations.
Really operate.
It's the comment I've got written down on my notes.
Operating into the doesn't mean regulated by. If that was the clarity you're wanting, does that?
Well, the fact you mentioned the CAA means that you're suggesting that they operate within the regulations of the CAA.
They have said they do. We have not confirmed
Okay.
it.
Well, I'm just making a point of information that they're not regulated by the CAA.
I could give
They're
you
a
an
licence.
No one said that they are regulated. They just say they operate within their guidelines.
but that is one and the same thing.
Not
No, it's not.
We're not saying that they do or don't.
Well, I
Okay,
can
it
give
doesn't
you,
matter, that's fine. We've
but
heard it.
there's an example that you can give them. I mean,
No, it doesn't matter, forget it.
So they're happy enough to not have elected members. They're happy enough that we can send people along to the meeting. We send people along.
Yeah.
I'm happy enough with that then as well. But yeah, it's good to see them starting something anyway.
The one thing they did say what they were leading up to was they have declined the MOD contracts. I'm pretty sure we're all aware of that. The refueling for helicopters. So that's been declined, or they step back.
Wait, stop this sniggering in the corner, please.
Well,
actually,
No,
that's
stop,
question. No,
If you want to,
no,
please,
no.
if you're gonna that sort of sniggering in the corner, that's it, okay? That's all we're wanting.
I can only say that that's the impression they gave us when we attended the meeting. I didn't go in there with any foreknowledge. I was just giving across the information that was passed to me.
Okay. We'll move on to, as we don't need to elect there, we'll not, and we'll just have, as we get dates and meetings, we can see who's available. Communities and working groups, committees, dyslexic.
I'm in this already.
Also left hand, I'm just saying.
Not bad. We had a working group for the budget, which obviously we worked through tonight, which we made then make further changes tonight, so basically we're super happy with that. What else have we had? We had cemetery drawing.
We worked through the budget for the cemetery, didn't we?
Yes.
Um,
Which we included in our
which is included in the
our
budget. So,
application.
and we just did a review of the remembrance event. Agreed to make several thank yous to people involved. Talked about waste disposal and putting off the clearing of the waste disposal so the weather was a bit more clement.
It's about 12 months we've been waiting, isn't it?
Did we find out if there was any way we could extend the road closure for the remembrance? It's just like the past 2 years in a row, like literally.
I thought it was done quite good this year.
We had another vehicle coming through as all of the Cubs and Scouts were parading in.
This year.
Yeah, this year. They all had to be moved to the side of the road.
Okay, we can maybe just
Yeah, that had the road closure at the top by the church.
So I don't know how this
Well,
will
and truly cordoned off quite early.
Well, it
How
was
was that?
definitely a vehicle that came through as they were all coming in. And I don't know, I just know
that would come in.
came that direction.
Then.
And they, the actual parade of the scouting groups coming was completely disrupted and they had to be moved to the side, which kind of, when they're all coming in with their flags and everything was a shame. And then there was all of the scout leaders and things getting quite stressed, you know. I mean, the kids were great and everything, just didn't get out of the way, but.
Because I was round the corner and there was nothing came out of it. Because I was giving out the service things that there,
Yeah.
so I didn't even know that that happened.
Yeah, and then like last year it was the delivery van.
The delivery one, because there wasn't the formal, like they
Yeah.
hadn't put it in properly, but this year I thought, I walked down there, and it looks really good this year. Okay.
I was really cool and done.
Where did that come from, John? Swan Lane.
Yeah,
Was it a vehicle or a delivery
I think
van?
it was a
Well,
4x4,
that's
but
good.
like a,
4x4 or something.
yeah.
What kind of time was that as well? Roughly?
I don't know bang on, but it was probably, it was just because I can't
If we
remember what
need to
time
keep
the
the times of the
scouts actually leave the village hall.
Quarter to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because what time does the service start at?
1:45.
Yeah, so they must,
Maybe
because I think we have to drop them off up there for 1:15.
We'll have a look at the
Yeah.
time of the road closure and just see if we can look forward 15, 20 minutes next time.
Because certainly it was shut at the bottom of church by 1:30.
Yeah.
The guy was there with all the signs out and everything, very prompt. Because even people coming down to church was really.
it wasn't the car that was parked on Riverside.
It
I
could
would
be.
be if it was
Yeah.
somebody coming out and somebody come out.
15 minutes or something.
Might be the person drop the reeds off.
But anyway,
Well, the people that, she walked.
Okay. We can get through that in 5. Are we happy to extend till past? Yeah. I need my dinner, so it's not going to be longer. Item 12, parish representation at meetings. There was a meeting held with National Highways and County Council to discuss A1 detours. Mainly just obviously the expressing what's the word for it, our annoyance at the detour of heavy goods vehicles and other vehicles in particular on bank holiday weekends when they're using the A1 as a rat run. It's County Council are going to, I believe they sent an email in since they're going to try and push stuff forward with highways and try and get some money out of them for other traffic calming measures or signs to try and reduce the impact on the village that the vehicles have.
The D sign up.
Hmm?
You know how we've got the D sign
Yeah,
up.
so it actually
Take that
advertises
out.
as
So
a rat run.
don't advertise it as a rat run, just say that that road goes
Yeah,
off to Felton and
yeah.
Thurston. Don't tell them effectively you can get
It
round
comes
and
back
down, yeah. Because if they don't see it as a D, then they're not going to be tempted to take it, are they?
Most people use Google.
It is, but if we had a 20 mile an hour.
Well, that's the thing. Some of the things they discussed was like
Yeah,
potentially imposing 20 mile an hour limit, whether it also putting signs up saying unsuitable for heavy goods vehicles.
Makes no difference if that's the way to detour enough.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that one of the ideas I think was that if they sort of kind of like what they've done, you know how from it doesn't ever get up to national between West First and East First, and it goes up to like 40, then 50, and then back down to 30 for East First. And so if they potentially give us 20 during the village, out the village is 40 or something, it might take that off of a detour on sat-nav, because it's not going to be a highway speed limit for the majority of the route.
Maybe we just have a farm trailer, we'll park across the entrance.
So it wasn't directly about them closing down the A1 and detouring everybody through that.
No, it's for where
Well,
there's particularly high traffic volumes. Obviously, they put an article out in the news about it on, I think it was the bank holiday, the end of August. There was circa 3,500 in comparison to 750
So
on a
during
normal day. So it's a significant amount at the increase, and then obviously of that there was almost 300 HGVs. We did discuss how obviously the buses do their synchronised dance through the village as well. You don't need to use synchronised dance.
you do.
But yeah, so their team are going to look at it and see what they can do over the next 12 months to help. Does anyone else get anything from that meeting? I think that summarises it a bit. Do you have any meetings on?
Village Hall, obviously the kitchen refurb's going ahead in January. And potentially the solar panels will be fitted in January.
How did it go as being the warm hub when the power cut?
Oh, everybody was very thrilled with warm hub when the power cut happened.
Wait, who was affected by the power cut? 'Cause I
All of Bengal.
Was it all of them?
Oh, no, half of Bengal.
Yeah.
But still didn't have half of Bengal. This was
No.
No, I'm glad that the warm.
No, I thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
Because people could come and heat stuff up.
But I think this is the
just
whole
get warm
idea.
generally, and that's what we're supposed to be using the
Especially when
village
you've got
hall
your batteries in here, so you'll be immune to power cuts yourselves as well.
for. Well, only a generator.
Okay, 13. Nothing further from Councillor Thorne. 14. We've got some news.
I've established a contact with some of the police for community liaison. I've chased them twice for a report, and I'm still waiting for that report. So
Welcome to our world.
I'm hoping that by the next meeting in January, he will have provided a backdated report and an up-to-date report.
We can't wait for this backdated report.
All the juicy stuff going on.
We'll be on board, but I think not.
Yeah, item 15.
I'm aware that there is a correspondence that is now under the town of the IC, or in freedom of information timelines, which I have admitted to respond within a 20-day time period, so now I've got 40 days, so I will be looking to do that as a priority. Just to let you know, subsequent correspondence with information will be dealt with as soon as I can. Freedom of information.
What was the freedom of information request about?
It's related to the surgery, the information required for correspondence.
Okay,
So I will need to get that correspondence looked at.
no worries. I think just in the airfield one, planning again, the further one we'll discuss. Moving on to 16, planning, new ongoing planning matters. This is just the new ones since the last update.
A lot of them aren't ours, are they?
Technically within the Felton parish on the
Yeah, it'll come up under the searches for Preston, Felton and Swansea, yeah.
yeah, so under that. But
I mean, Virgin Park close to it, if not aware.
It's just projects that comes up as.
It's just the postal address is spelled.
Yeah. Okay, unless there are any comments, move on. Items to next agenda.
Oh, can I just briefly talk about, the rec lane, pole installations?
Yes.
We didn't get any warning that was happening, did we? The vote was happening, did we? The road closure was coming about.
Sign it in the road, wasn't it?
Signs on the road, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
It's done, but just so that you know that I went to speak to them on the day when it was happening and rang Pumpkin High to warn them. And that happened. And they got told that, they just get told to come do the job. But they were perfectly lovely and said they'd be back with me.
yeah, that's good.
So that was it.
Seem to have planted them where they as well.
Nearly done, but once the right side of the road. They nearly didn't. It was nearly a big problem. You know the piece of machinery that they use to find out where the services are? It was working, and then it stopped working, and then he started digging. I went, check that again, and wouldn't move there. So it's where it should be now. And the main power cable that goes down to the substation. And now they didn't.
So they have Friday.
Well done.
But strangely, the poles have only been there a few days, and you can't really see them. I know you don't really notice that there.
Okay. 17 items to next agenda. Nothing not fair then, so get them in by the 17th, please. At the very latest.
And tomorrow.
No,
7th
January.
of
Sorry. Date to the next meeting, 27th of January, 7:15. Unless that changes. But yeah, close the meeting 21:20.
I could leave that to January, February's meeting, because February, when we would normally meet, it's the panel.
That's reasonable.
Didn't used to be January, didn't it? We used to be January.
Well, it's only because we've come forward from February.
And so do we used to?
No.
Oh, yes we did.
Don't tell me.